I used to think eggs were the perfect food. Easy, cheap, packed with protein. What could go wrong? Then I learned the hard way, a bad egg can do more than ruin breakfast. It can ruin your entire week. Stomach cramps, nausea, food poisoning. And the worst part, most of us are making mistakes that turn eggs from a superfood into a health risk without even realizing it. If you eat eggs, you need to hear this. Let's crack open the truth. Mistake number 1, storing eggs the wrong way. Most people shove a carton of eggs into the fridge door without thinking twice, but that is the worst place to keep them. The fridge door is the warmest spot, constantly exposed to temperature changes every time you open it. That fluctuation speeds up bacterial growth and makes eggs go bad faster. The safest place? The back of the fridge, where the temperature stays steady at or below 40°. Leaving eggs at room temperature is just as risky. In 2 hours, bacteria like salmonella can multiply enough to make you seriously sick. If you forgot your eggs on the counter, do not take the chance. Get them in the fridge immediately. And then there is the freshness factor. Just because an egg does not smell bad does not mean it is safe. The best test? Drop it in water. A fresh egg sinks. A bad one floats. If it hovers in the middle, use it soon. Storing eggs wrong is the first mistake, but the next one happens in kitchens every single day, and it is even more dangerous. Mistake number 2, eating raw or undercooked eggs. Some people swear by raw eggs. They mix them into protein shakes, homemade mayonnaise, or even eat them straight. Others like their eggs barely cooked with runny yolks and soft whites. But there is a hidden danger most do not think about. Raw and undercooked eggs can carry salmonella, a bacteria that causes food poisoning. Symptoms include nausea, stomach cramps, diarrhea, fever, and sometimes worse. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that over 1 million cases of foodborne illness each year are linked to salmonella, and eggs are one of the top sources. You may assume that if an egg looks clean, it is safe, but bacteria do not just sit on the shell. They can be inside the egg before it is even laid. This happens when a hen carrying salmonella passes it directly into the egg during formation. Washing the shell does nothing to remove the risk. So how do you stay safe? Cook eggs properly. The United States Department of Agriculture recommends cooking eggs until the yolk and white are firm. That means no runny yolks, no raw cookie dough, and no sunny side-up eggs. Unless you are using pasteurized eggs, which have been heat-treated to kill bacteria without cooking the egg. If you love runny eggs, invest in pasteurized ones. If you are making homemade sauces, desserts, or dressings that call for raw eggs, use pasteurized eggs instead. The risk may seem small, but when you are the one curled up in bed with food poisoning, you will wish you had been more careful. Cooking eggs the right way eliminates bacteria, but what if you are contaminating your food without even knowing it? The next mistake is one of the most overlooked and dangerous habits in home kitchens. Mistake number 3, cross-contamination in the kitchen. You crack an egg, toss the shell in the trash, and wipe your hands on a kitchen towel. Maybe you rinse them quickly under the sink, then you grab some bread, slice a tomato, or start cooking. Sounds harmless, right? It is not. Raw eggs can carry salmonella, and the bacteria do not stay contained. The moment you touch an egg, anything your hands touch afterward, your knife, your cutting board, even your refrigerator handle can become contaminated. The worst part, you will not see it, you will not smell it, and you will not know until you or someone else gets sick. The United States Department of Agriculture warns that cross-contamination is one of the leading causes of foodborne illness. A single contaminated surface can spread bacteria to multiple foods, even those that are not cooked. That means the fresh salad you just made, the fruit you cut up for later, or the sandwich you threw together could all be at risk. This mistake is even more dangerous in kitchens where multiple foods are being prepared at once. If you handle raw eggs and then touch raw meat or vegetables, you could be creating the perfect environment for bacteria to multiply. And if those foods are not cooked at high enough temperatures, the bacteria will survive and enter your body. So how do you prevent it? First, wash your hands with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds after handling raw eggs, not a quick rinse, an actual scrub. Treat eggs like raw meat. If you touch them, assume bacteria is on your hands. Second, clean all surfaces immediately. That means countertops, cutting boards, knives, and anything else that came in contact with raw eggs. Use hot, soapy water or a disinfectant to kill bacteria before moving on to other foods. Third, do not reuse kitchen towels or sponges that have touched raw egg residue. Sponges, in particular, are breeding grounds for bacteria, spreading contamination every time they touch a surface. Use paper towels or dedicated cloths for cleaning up after handling raw eggs. It sounds simple, but most people do not think about it. They crack an egg, wipe their hands on a towel, and continue cooking. And that is how bacteria spread. Even if you store your eggs properly and cook them safely, cross-contamination can undo all that effort. And the next mistake people make, it is something so basic that most do not even realize it is a problem: using eggs that are past their prime. Mistake number 4, using eggs past their prime. Eggs do not always give clear signs when they have gone bad. Unlike milk, which smells sour, or meat, which changes color, eggs can look and smell perfectly fine even when they are no longer safe to eat. That is why so many people unknowingly cook with old eggs, thinking they are still fresh. Over time, eggs lose moisture and their protective membrane weakens, making them more susceptible to bacteria like salmonella. Even if they were stored properly in the refrigerator, old eggs can develop invisible bacterial growth that increases the risk of food poisoning. Expiration dates are helpful, but they are not always accurate. Some eggs stay fresh longer than their listed date, while others spoil faster depending on how they were handled before they even reached your kitchen. That is why it is important to check freshness before using them. The simplest test is the water trick. Fill a glass with cold water and gently place an egg inside. Fresh eggs will sink to the bottom and lay flat. Eggs that are still safe but slightly older will stand upright. If an egg floats, it means air has built up inside, and it should be thrown away. Another way to check is by cracking the egg onto a plate. A fresh egg will have a firm yolk and thick, slightly cloudy egg whites. If the whites are watery and spread out too much, or if the yolk is flattened, the egg is past its peak. If it smells off in any way, do not take the risk. Even if an egg is still technically safe, older eggs lose nutrients. The longer they sit, the more their protein structure breaks down. That means fewer nutrients and a weaker texture when cooked. If you want the best quality eggs with the most nutrition, use them within 3 to 5 weeks of purchase. Eating an old egg might not always make you sick, but why take the chance? The next mistake is just as common and just as dangerous: cooking eggs the wrong way. Mistake number 5. Cooking eggs the wrong way. Cooking eggs seems simple: crack them, heat them, eat them. But small mistakes in how you cook them can make a big difference, not just in taste, but in how they affect your health. One of the biggest mistakes is using high heat for too long. Cooking eggs at extremely high temperatures, especially frying or scrambling them until they are browned, can cause a chemical reaction that produces harmful compounds. When proteins and fats in eggs are exposed to excessive heat, they can create oxidized cholesterol, which has been linked to inflammation and heart disease. Overcooked eggs also lose key nutrients, including antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin, which support eye health. On the other hand, undercooking eggs can be just as risky. Runny whites, barely set yolks, and lightly cooked scrambled eggs may taste rich and creamy, but they also leave you exposed to bacteria like salmonella if you are not using pasteurized eggs. The safest method is to cook eggs until the whites are firm and the yolks are fully set. If you prefer softer eggs, poaching or gentle steaming at lower temperatures helps retain nutrients while reducing bacterial risk. The oil you use also matters. Cooking eggs in low-quality vegetable oils like soybean or corn oil can increase inflammation due to their high omega-6 content. A better option is cooking with butter, avocado oil, or olive oil, which provide healthier fats and enhance the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. Lastly, microwaving eggs in the shell is a mistake that can literally blow up in your face. As eggs heat up, steam builds inside, and if there is no way for it to escape, the egg can explode, causing burns or a mess. Always crack eggs before microwaving, or pierce the shell if cooking them whole. Cooking eggs the right way preserves nutrients, improves digestibility, and reduces health risks. But even the best cooking methods will not help if your eggs are coming from the wrong sources. The next mistake people make is choosing eggs without knowing what really goes into them. Mistake number 6. Choosing the wrong eggs. Not all eggs are the same. The ones you buy at the store can vary in nutrition, safety, and even taste depending on where they come from and how the hens were raised. But most people grab a carton without thinking twice, assuming eggs are just eggs. One of the biggest misconceptions is that all eggs are antibiotic-free and hormone-free. While hormone use in poultry is illegal in many countries, antibiotics are sometimes given to hens to prevent disease. Overuse of antibiotics in farming can contribute to antibiotic-resistant bacteria, which pose serious health risks. The best way to avoid this is to choose eggs labeled as organic or pasture-raised, which come from hens raised without antibiotics in a more natural environment. People also assume that cage-free, free-range, and pasture-raised all mean the same thing. Cage-free simply means hens are not confined to tiny cages, but they are still kept indoors, often in crowded conditions. Free-range hens have some access to the outdoors, but that does not mean they roam freely. Pasture-raised hens spend the most time outside foraging naturally, which leads to eggs that are higher in omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, and antioxidants. Another common mistake is believing that brown eggs are healthier than white eggs. The truth is that shell color has nothing to do with nutrition. It is simply a reflection of the hen's breed. What really matters is how the hen was raised and what it was fed. Many people also buy eggs without checking the United States Department of Agriculture grade. Grade A eggs are the freshest, with firm whites and strong yolks. Grade A eggs are slightly older, but still good quality. Grade B eggs are usually used in processed foods because their texture is weaker. Lower grade eggs may still be safe to eat, but they are often older and have thinner whites and weaker yolks. If you want the best quality eggs, organic, pasture-raised, and grade AA are the best choices. They cost more, but the difference in nutrition, taste, and safety is worth it. Even if you choose the highest quality eggs, there is one final mistake that can undo everything: what you eat with them. Mistake number 7, pairing eggs with the wrong foods. Eggs are one of the most nutritious foods you can eat, packed with high-quality protein, essential vitamins, and healthy fats. But the way you eat them and what you eat them with can make a huge difference in how they affect your health. One of the biggest mistakes is combining eggs with highly processed meats like bacon, sausage, or ham. These meats are loaded with saturated fats, sodium, and nitrates, which have been linked to heart disease and an increased risk of certain cancers. While eggs on their own are not harmful, pairing them with processed meats turns a healthy meal into something far riskier. If you love a hearty breakfast, a better option is pairing eggs with fresh vegetables, avocado, or whole grains, which provide fiber and heart-healthy fats to balance the meal. Another mistake is overloading eggs with unhealthy oils and butter. Frying eggs in vegetable oils high in omega-6 fatty acids such as soybean or corn oil can contribute to inflammation over time. Cooking them in butter can be fine in moderation, but too much saturated fat can add unnecessary strain on heart health. A better option is using healthier fats like olive oil or avocado oil, which provide antioxidants and support cardiovascular function. Eating eggs alongside foods that spike blood sugar is another common problem. Many people enjoy eggs with white bread, pancakes, or sugary cereals. While eggs provide protein and fat to slow digestion, combining them with high glycemic foods can lead to energy crashes and increased fat storage. If you want a breakfast that keeps you full and energized, pairing eggs with fiber-rich foods like whole grain toast, sweet potatoes, or greens is a smarter choice. What you drink with eggs matters too. Coffee is a common breakfast companion, but too much caffeine can interfere with nutrient absorption, especially iron and calcium. If you rely on coffee in the morning, drinking it after your meal instead of with it can help minimize its impact on nutrient absorption. Eggs are a nutritional powerhouse, but what you eat with them determines whether they work for you or against you. And after all these mistakes, there is one final factor that most people overlook: the way they think about eggs in their overall diet. Mistake number 8, misunderstanding eggs and cholesterol. For years, eggs were labeled as unhealthy because of their cholesterol content. People were told to limit egg consumption or avoid them altogether to protect their hearts. But recent research has proven that the relationship between dietary cholesterol and heart disease is far more complex than we once thought. Egg yolks contain cholesterol, but for most people, eating eggs does not significantly raise blood cholesterol levels. The body regulates cholesterol production, meaning that when you consume more from food, your liver produces less to maintain balance. Studies have shown that moderate egg consumption does not increase heart disease risk in healthy individuals. In fact, eggs provide essential nutrients like choline, which supports brain function. and lutein and zeaxanthin, which promote eye health. The real issue is not the cholesterol in eggs, but the overall diet they are part of. If eggs are eaten alongside processed meats, trans fats, and excessive sugar, the combination can contribute to inflammation and cardiovascular problems, but when included in a balanced diet with whole foods, eggs can actually support heart health. Some studies suggest that for most people, eating up to 7 eggs per week has no negative effects on cholesterol levels and may even improve the balance of good and bad cholesterol. That said, not everyone responds to dietary cholesterol in the same way. Some people, known as hyperresponders, may experience an increase in blood cholesterol when eating high cholesterol foods. If you have a history of heart disease or high cholesterol, it is always a good idea to consult a doctor before making eggs a daily habit. Demonizing eggs because of cholesterol is outdated science. What matters most is the overall quality of your diet, not just one food. When eaten in moderation and paired with nutrient-dense foods, eggs are one of the best sources of protein and essential nutrients you can find. But there is one final mistake that people make, and it is not about how they eat eggs. It is about the way they think about food altogether. Mistake number 9, thinking of eggs as either good or bad. People love to label foods. One day, eggs are a superfood packed with protein and brain-boosting nutrients. The next, they are demonized for cholesterol and heart disease risk. This black and white thinking leads to confusion and unnecessary fear around one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. Eggs are neither perfect nor harmful on their own. Their impact on health depends entirely on how they are stored, cooked, and included in your overall diet. A person who eats eggs alongside fresh vegetables, whole grains, and healthy fats will experience very different health effects than someone who eats eggs with processed meats, refined carbs, and sugary drinks. Many people fall into the trap of avoiding eggs entirely based on old dietary myths, missing out on essential nutrients like choline, vitamin D, and high-quality protein. Others go to the opposite extreme, eating multiple eggs every day without considering variety in their diet. Like anything else, balance is key. The healthiest diet is not about labeling foods as good or bad. It is about understanding how they fit into your life, your needs, and your body's response. Eggs can be an incredible source of nutrition or a contributor to health issues, depending on how you handle and consume them. After breaking down these common mistakes, one thing is clear. Eggs are powerful, but only if you know how to use them wisely. Now that you do, the choice is yours. Will you make them work for you, or will you keep making the same mistake? If this helped, like the video, subscribe for more, and let me know, how do you like your eggs?